Well, Bluewater Health is a large organization. We have many staff, physicians, and the public at large that rely heavily on us. It's extremely important that how they perceive us is viewed favorably. And effective communications, of professional communications, allows the snuffing out of the rumor mill. Rumors can be very caustic to an organization. Rumors can then shape perception of your organization, and it's very important that our staff and physicians and the public at large have a great perception of Bluewater Health. We rely heavily on as a public hospital, we rely heavily on community support, and so the communications mandate helps us achieve that goal.
Lapaine is the embodiment of a communications leader, of an excellent communications leader, in that not only does he believe in the power of communications, little c and big C, but he actually walks the walk and talks the talk. Mike is the first person to recognize that if we have a great story to tell and we're not telling it well, then the whole operational side is going to fall apart. He's the person who puts together both the strategy and the operations and overlays them with communications, understanding that communications really needs to be at the table. I sit on the senior executive table, and I have a voice at the table, and my team has a voice at the table. And when we look to do change and innovate, it's never, ooh, that's not how we do things at Bluewater Health. It's like, that sounds really cool, let's bring it on.
Well, I value communications to the point that I have the Chief of Communications on our executive team. So in truth, anything that comes out of the executive team passes through the communications department to ensure consistency, to ensure completeness, and to ensure everyone is hearing the same message as the way it was intended. What I've learned in many, many years of leadership is I'm going to twist an old axiom about real estate. There's 3 things you know about real estate: location, location, location. I say to budding leaders, there's 3 things you need to know about leadership: communication, communication, communication. If you communicate effectively, people clearly understand what your expectations are. They don't misinterpret what you're saying. During the pandemic, when you're in a crisis situation like we're in now, communications is probably the most effective tool we have at our disposal as leaders. We have seen in countless jurisdictions that leaders get into trouble through bad or imprecise communications. So ensuring you're always on message, ensuring that the public and your staff are getting clear communications inspires confidence in them, and they know they're getting consistent messaging. So this pandemic has really taught us that the value of communications, and that communications can help quell the panic.
Mike understands that every leader in the organization is a communicator, and Mike is the living example of that. You know, we'll find that a certain team, for example, through pandemic, was particularly struggling, and he would go into that team and round with them and make sure that everyone was okay and how they were feeling, and feeling safe and feeling motivated and feeling engaged. And he'd follow up with their leader to make sure that their leader had key messages to also kind of go back and strengthen the same kind of dialogue. He's just a natural communicator.
Having been nominated, I'm very proud of the fact that someone saw something in me that saw that it was worthy of a nomination. So I'm extremely pleased that I'm viewed this way by our communications team and the hospital in general, and I'm honored.